Hey, what's going on, Big Brother fans? My name is Chris, and welcome to the Screen This Big Brother Canada Season 4, Episode 5 recap, brought to you by Morty's TV. Head on over to mortystv.com/bbcanada to get live feed updates, and there's even a chat room where you can chat it up with every Big Brother Canada fan out there. My name is Chris, and welcome to the show, everyone. It was an interesting episode. I think it was probably one of the more entertaining episodes tonight, and let's get right to it. So, who's going home tonight? Is it Sharry or Loveita? Let's find out. Tim is giving advice to Sharry and Loveita, but it's nothing really new. For some reason, I get it, right? But as a viewer, you're kind of thinking like, are you kidding me right now? But, Loveita and Sharry are really listening to him. They really take his advice seriously. Because he's played the game before. But it's, like we've mentioned before, and like they've mentioned it in the show, that the international version of Big Brother is just not the same. I get that he's played it before, but go with your own instinct. Go with your gut. You don't really need to really take other people's advice to heart, Just go with your gut, play the way you want to play it. But again, like I said, he wasn't really saying anything eye-opening or really, anything new. Kelsey and Cassandra then talk about, we see them in the room, they're talking about showmances. Kelsey doesn't know if she wants to make it a showmance with Jared. She's just really worried, she says that she can be a nice girl, but she's kind of a bad girl, and Jared's a really nice guy, really sweet, nice guy, and she doesn't want to break his heart because she feels he's that type of guy. If, she plays around with him and then, he starts to, really like her, and then she's like, oh, yeah, I'm done with you kind of thing. So she doesn't know where her head's at right now. I don't know why I'm going into so much detail about this. I mean, who cares? It's a showmance. Anyway, then Maddie and Loveita talk about who is voting to keep Loveita. And of course, when Loveita starts to hear some names, she gets a little bit more motivated. Because I guess at the beginning she thought, she had no chance. There was no point in campaigning. Everyone's just going to keep Sharry. But Maddie, said a few names, and now Loveita's feeling a little bit better about herself. But then it cuts into Loveita hanging out with some of the guys. I think Phil's there, Joel's there, maybe Dallas, Nick maybe. There's a few guys in there, and they're all chatting away, having a good time. And then Loveita notices that her sweater's a bit unzipped, that her boobs are kind of popping out. So she notices it, and she's like, "Oh my god!" And then she just zips her sweater back up. And Phil said that she thought she was doing it on purpose to stay in the house, and she said no, and he said, "Oh, that's too bad." And she's like, "Really? Is it too bad?" He's like, "Yeah." You know what? I know this is really dumb of me to say, but it's just how things work. I mean, just wake up a little, Loveita. There are a lot of horny guys in this house. And you're attractive. So, just show a little skin. I'm not saying you need to be walking around in a bikini or a thong and bra and panties or whatever. Just show a little bit off. And you'll most likely stay in the house. Realistically, she's done nothing wrong. She has done nothing wrong to wrong anyone's game. All she did last week was put up Kelsey, and Jared got upset because he likes Kelsey and wants her to stay in the house. So what's he gonna do? He's gonna put up Loveita when he had the chance. That's just how this works. Loveita did nothing wrong to anyone else. She's attractive. All these guys think she's hot. So, play along and you're going to be fine. It's exactly what happened last week, to be honest. Kelsey's attractive, Paige was cute, but the guys really wanted to keep Kelsey around. And sure, a lot of them were a few of the guys are working with Jared, and Jared probably had a bit of a say and wanted them to keep her. But realistically, it's this early on in the game, unless you do something so stupid, kind of like what Dallas did in last night's episode, it's just too early to do anything and to be, to really, make people upset or pissed at you. I mean, that's just my thought. I don't get it. I don't get it. But I know Loveita's a really good girl. She doesn't have that Kelsey persona where she does flirt with a bunch of guys because she knows she can get what she wants, and that's kind of her style. I know that's not Loveita's style, but you might be going home in a day or two. Well, in tonight's episode, right? So at that point in the episode, you're thinking like, you've still got time to keep yourself in it. But anyway, she doesn't want to, and the other thing too is like Sharry doesn't really bring anything to the game right now. So it's just another reason for Loveita to kind of step up her game. Okay, now things will get a little weird. Phil walks in on Nick and Maddie flirting with each other, and Phil just kind of stands there with like a blank look on his face, kind of like he saw a ghost. And he just kind of stood there in silence for like 5 seconds. It was really weird. He stood there for like 5 seconds, and he kind of like I think Maddie asked a question, or Nick asked him a question, and he kind of just like shrugged his shoulders and just walked out. And Nick was like, oh man, Phil's pissed at me. So Nick went and followed Phil, and then they were talking, and they're just being brothers. But Phil is really upset because Maddie is on the other side of the house. She's not working with Jared and company, right? So Phil is upset because even though they're kind of playing both sides of the house, they kind of lean more towards Jared and company. So Phil, again, with what happened to Sharry, Phil is worried that Nick will be guilty by association because he's hanging out with Maddie. Makes total sense. The other thing is Phil and Nick, right? They're playing as one. So of course Phil's going to be upset with how Nick is playing the game. They really need to stick together and make sure they're making the best decisions because everyone knows what's going on. Like everyone can see what's going on, right? So if Nick and Maddie start to hang out a lot more, and Jared and those guys start to realize that, and they can see that, then there's a potential that Phil and Nick could be nominated, right? It's just Phil is just thinking ahead, and he's just a little worried, right? Again, makes total sense. Now, on to some fun stuff. Big Brother gave Joel and Cassandra a task, which is to wash all the clothes, all the house guests' clothes, and the bed sheets in the house. As they are doing this task, they receive another task where they need to take 2 clothing items from each house guest and donate it to charity. The thing is, the other house guests know that Joel and Cassandra has received this task. So then the house guest task is to make Joel and Cassandra feel so bad about giving away their clothes that Joel and Cassandra will give away their own clothes instead. Of course, if the house guests can pull this off, they will get a reward. So Joel and Cassandra end up feeling bad, of course, because everyone's just like pissed off. They're yelling at them. They're just giving them lip service. So then Joel and Cassandra just say, whatever, let's just end this. We'll just give away our clothes. And then, of course, at the end of the day, no one has to give up any clothes. And I should mention that it wasn't like, they didn't really throw around the word charity and make this all a joke. The task was provided, it was brought to you by OxyClean, I believe. OxyClean HD or something like that. I didn't get paid to say that. So they donated $5,000 to a charity. So it's all good. It's all nice and dandy. And of course, the house guests got their party, which now leads to some more drama. While the house guests are at the party, Nikki had a pretty big meltdown. It all started with this vodka. Someone finished the vodka bottle. Nikki ended up finishing the bottle, but all she had apparently was like 2 shots. And she said that Raul basically had like half the vodka bottle. And because she was the last one to have it, Kelsey like kind of grabbed the bottle and she's like, what the hell, like, there's no more vodka. And then Maddie's like, what? There's no more vodka? Oh my god, my life is ruined. Okay, she didn't say that part. But they were like, what? There's no more vodka? So they all kind of looked at Nikki because she's the one that finished the bottle. And then Nikki was like, no, Raul did it, blah, 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 blah. And then Maddie kind of gave Nikki a little bit of attitude. So then Nikki kind of has a meltdown. She starts crying, blabbing away to Tim. I love Tim's expressions when he's listening or talking to Nikki. He's just having a good old time with it. And he knows that Nikki's just all over the place. And he's just like, yeah, he's just cool as a cucumber. And he's just enjoying every single minute of it. And then we see Nikki go into the diary room and she starts crying. She's like, curled up in a ball on the couch, and she's like, I said I wanted to leave before, but I really mean it this time. I really want to go home now. But surprise, surprise, everyone, she's still in the house. So now we have Jared, Kelsey, and Joel. They're talking about who Joel wants to keep safe. Jared was the one that brought it up. He asked Joel this question. So Joel says he feels a little closer to Loveita. And Jared just kind of butts in and says that he thinks that she wants Joel to think that. I mean, don't ask him the question and then basically tell him that his opinion doesn't matter. I don't understand this guy. He's just not smart, and I'm actually starting to get a little annoyed by him and Kelsey and just that group. And you know what? Sometimes, early on in the game, there's always these groups that split up. There's always 2 groups, sometimes 3. And, there's always that kind of cool group, but for the most part, they're actually really cool people. And this season, I'm just thinking Jared and those people, I'm just if I was in the house, I'd be away from them all the time. I wouldn't even want to be near them. I mean, that probably wouldn't be good for my game, but hopefully I can get close with everyone else. So then Mitch and Phil enter the conversation, and Kelsey and Jared are just acting like a bunch of big shots, saying oh, I changed my mind, I don't care who goes home, blah, 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 it doesn't matter. I mean, whatever. I honestly, you guys know how annoyed I am already. I just can't wait till these 2 suckers go up next week. I mean, fingers crossed, that is. Now, Loveita's doing some last-minute campaigning. She tells Maddie that Sharry is close with Jared, Raul, and Kelsey, which makes no sense. I don't even think we've seen Sharry with those 3 people for more than 5 seconds in an episode yet. I don't understand it. And obviously they don't see what they don't see our episodes. But Sharry's always with Loveita and all those other Maddie and all those other people. She's not hanging out with Raul and Jared and Kelsey. It just makes no sense why Loveita would even tell Maddie that. And Maddie is working closely with Sharry as well. So guess what? Why do you think Maddie wouldn't tell Sharry? Guess what? She does tell Sharry. So she goes and tells Sharry, and Sharry's upset, and she couldn't believe that Loveita would say such a thing. So then it gets to this really super awkward moment, but also hilarious, when Loveita and Sharry kind of cross each other, they're walking by each other, so they decide to hug each other, hug it out. And it was one of those moments. So Sharry goes they're really close to each other, they're hugging, but really close. And Sharry whispers in Loveita's ear and says, "I want to play a clean game." And Loveita says, "I want to play a clean game too." They kind of chuckle away, and then they just go their separate ways. But the camera catches Loveita kind of she doesn't really roll her eyes, but she kind of gives this look yeah, okay, bitch, whatever you say kind of thing. But it just reminds me of one of those moments where, you get close to someone, you whisper in the ear, and you're like, "I'm going to kill you," or something like that. It was just one of those moments, and it was awkward when you were watching it, but it was also kind of funny. So what's the verdict? Hang on just a little bit longer. Arissa announces that there's a complaint box in the house now. It's in the housekeeping area, and that's where the house guests get to put in their complaints. To me, it's basically just another diary room, but we're actually gonna see, they can show us all the complaints. Obviously, the house guests are always complaining, not enough alcohol, not enough this, not enough that. They're obviously complaining out loud, or they're going in the diary room and complaining about it. So they can easily edit that in for us. I don't understand this whole complaint box thing. Again, I just think it's another reason for Big Brother to, something's lacking right now, and Big Brother's just trying to change things up, trying to get some entertainment out of it. But honestly, I think the house guests, I think they'll go to the complaint box often in the first couple episodes that we'll see, and then it's just gonna die off. Everyone's gonna be too lazy to go to the complaint box and complain about something. I don't know. I really don't care. Maybe you guys think differently. Let me know if you do. But it's on to the eviction now. Joel and Cassandra were first to vote, and they voted for Sharry, which is no real surprise. But Raul is next, and basically his vote will determine a lot of the other votes. Like, Jared's, Kelsey's, maybe even the brothers, Raul, or sorry, not Raul, Ramsey. And what's crazy is Raul votes to evict Sharry. I really didn't see that coming. I honestly thought Jared and company really wanted to take out Loveita, but I guess not. I think it's a big mistake. I think Loveita is a strong competitor, and I think I think it's a big mistake, but we'll find out. So with that being said, Sharry has been evicted from the Big Brother Canada house 11-1. Now, you want to know who that one is? It was Nikki. And I'm sitting here, when I watched the episode and I'm sitting on the couch and I'm thinking, like, does Nikki know the voting process? Like, did Nikki think that she was voting to keep someone rather than evicting someone? Because why was she not on the same page with everyone else? I also don't think she's smart enough to kind of play that game, to kind of screw around the house guests so they were like, who was the one? Who was the one person, right? I don't think Nikki's smart enough to do that. So I almost think that this was a mistake and she meant to vote for someone to stay. I don't know. That's just my take on it. I just don't understand why she wouldn't be on the same page with everyone else. It's time for the HoH competition. It's basically like an air hockey table and those tabletop hockey tables. It's kind of like a combo of that. There's a platform with 5 hockey figurines in the middle, and house guests need to bounce a ball off the sides, and on the other end of the table are numbers. So obviously the house guest with the most points from the one shot will win the head of household. Cassandra held on to the lead for a bit, but then Joel took over, and then Nick took over Joel, but then guess who ended up winning on the last shot? Loveita. I'm loving it. I honestly can't wait for this week. It's exactly what I've been professing since the beginning of this episode. I hope to God she's gunning after Jared and Kelsey. Maybe she's just going to put one of them up and then hopefully backdoor at the end. Hopefully someone wins veto, takes someone off, and then backdoors the other person. Or maybe she'll just put both up and just let it ride. But you know what? It's going to be an interesting week. I hope Loveita makes a big move. So we'll see what happens. That's your episode 5 recap. Thanks for watching and listening, everyone. Make sure to follow me on SoundCloud. You can subscribe on YouTube. And make sure to visit my website, www.screenthis.ca, for a bunch of links, information, and about more stuff other than Big Brother Canada. And there's a newsletter as well that you can sign up for so that you always get constant updates of what's going on the website. Thanks for listening, everyone. My name is Chris, and I'm out.